Well, Sunday is the day Christians worship, and that started in the book of Acts because Christ rose on the first day of the week. So Sabbath day was the day of rest, connected to the Lord resting the seventh day after he created in 6 days. And God ordained in the Old Testament that since he rested, as it were, on the seventh day, that his people Israel would, on the seventh day, rest and worship their Creator. That was the day in the Old Covenant. When you get into the New Testament, all the commandments of the Old Testament are repeated, except one. If you go to the Ten Commandments, they're all repeated except one is left out. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. You don't have that in the New Testament. Because we're now under a new covenant, which is better than the old covenant, and we have a new day, the day that Christ rose from the dead. And so from the very early chapters of Acts, the church met on the first day of the week to celebrate the resurrection.
The fact that John says there is a Lord's Day in the New Covenant shows there is a day set apart in a unique way for the Lord. And so that's a place to begin. I think Colossians chapter 2, which talks about the Sabbath being past, shows that the old Sabbath, the Sabbaths literally in Greek, are passed away. And then we look at the apostolic practice of frequently meeting on the first day, and we begin to see this pattern emerging from the New Testament, that whereas Jews rested on the seventh day, Christians rest and worship on the first day. And then I think theologians have helpfully theologized that. They said, when God created the world, he gave all mankind, not just his people, all mankind before the fall, the Sabbath day to establish a pattern of work and then rest. But with the coming of Christ, that pattern changes because Christ has brought that ultimate rest to us, so we begin with rest and then we work out of that rest. And I think that's a really helpful way of thinking about why God changed this so that the resurrection of Christ is absolutely central in the life and experience of the church.